Imagine a sleek, twin-engine aircraft ripping through the clouds at nearly 500 miles per hour. Its push-pull propellers humming in perfect balance as it races to intercept bombers that had been turning cities into rubble for years. Now comes the gut punch. By the time this masterpiece was ready, fuel reserves were nearly gone. Enemy fighters ruled the skies, and the Third Reich was already collapsing under its own weight. That aircraft was the Dornier Do 335 File, a tragic symbol of what happens when brilliance arrives too late. During World War II, engineers on every side poured everything they had into machines that could have reshaped the air. These weren't just planes, they were last-ditch hopes. Technological gambles meant to reverse inevitable defeat. Faster, higher, deadlier, yet most appeared when the outcome was already sealed. Factories were in ruins, and surrender loomed. Born in secrecy and rivalry, they became footnotes not because they failed, but because history refused to wait. As we unpack these stories, you'll see just how close the world came to different endings, and how decisions made in boardrooms and hangars quietly sealed their fate. It all begins with the Arrow, whose design still leaves aviation enthusiasts shaking their heads in disbelief. The Do 335 wasn't a rushed desperation project. Its origins stretched back to the early 1940s, when Claude Dornier envisioned a heavy fighter that wrung every possible knot of speed from its airframe. His solution was radical yet elegant: one engine pulling from the nose, another pushing from the rear, eliminating the drag that plagued traditional twin-engine aircraft. It was almost poetic in its simplicity, but building it demanded precision that wartime Germany increasingly lacked. When the first prototype flew in October 1943, test pilots were stunned. It could reach roughly 474 miles per hour in level flight, climb to 30,000 feet in minutes, and carry devastating firepower: a 30mm cannon in the nose, heavy machine guns, and even bombs. It could intercept, reconnoiter, or fight at night. But by then, Allied bombers were hammering German industry non-stop. Dornier's factories were hit repeatedly. Production stalled, and resources dried up. By late 1944, only a handful reached operational units, and even then fuel was scarce, pilots were inexperienced, and the Luftwaffe was barely holding together. Veteran pilot Ernst Wilhelm Reinert flew a few sorties and claimed the file handled beautifully, even outrunning P-51 Mustangs in dives. Still, most never saw combat. Only about 37 were built before production ceased. The what-ifs linger painfully. Had it appeared a year earlier? Could it have disrupted D-Day or shredded bomber streams over Berlin? Instead, it ended up in museums, a reminder that timing, not innovation alone, decides wars. That same cruel timing haunted the Heinkel He-162, the Volksjäger or People's Fighter. Conceived in late 1944, it was born from desperation. Allied air power was overwhelming Germany, and Hitler demanded a cheap jet interceptor that barely trained youths could fly. Ernst Heinkel's team responded at breakneck speed, taking just 69 days from drawing board to first flight. The result was astonishing: wooden wings, a single turbojet mounted on top like a rocket pack, and a top speed of around 562 miles per hour. It was agile, fast climbing, and heavily armed. The plan was to unleash thousands and drown the Allies in numbers. Reality was brutal. Poor materials caused structural failures, glue weakened in humidity, and pilots received minimal training. Fatal accidents followed. By early 1945, about 120 were operational, but fuel shortages grounded most. In the few engagements it fought, the He-162 scored kills, but suffered badly against seasoned Allied pilots. It was a glimpse of the jet age, but it arrived amid rubble and chaos, a regime's final, frantic breath. Meanwhile, Germany's answer to high-altitude bombers came in the form of the Focke-Wulf Tu-15H. Evolving from the FW-190, it featured long wings for thin air, a pressurized cockpit, and a powerful Jumo engine boosted with methanol water injection. At altitude, it could hit around 472 miles per hour and climb higher than most Allied fighters. Armed with a devastating cannon setup, it was built to tear apart heavy bombers from above. Development began in 1943, But delays and shifting priorities slowed everything. When it finally reached frontline units in January 1945, Germany was already at its knees. Pilots praised its stability and firepower, and a few claimed victories, but only about 43 were built. Many never flew due to parts shortages. Allied intelligence feared it, yet rarely encountered it a missed opportunity frozen in time. Across the world in Japan, timing was just as unforgiving. The Kyushu J-7W Shinden looked like something ripped from science fiction, with its canard layout, rear-mounted pusher propeller, and massive engine. Designed to obliterate B-29s, it promised blistering climb rates and heavy armament. Conceived in 1943, it finally flew in August 1945, mere days before Japan surrendered. Test pilots loved its handling, but shortages of materials and constant bombing meant only 3 prototypes were built, none armed. The Shinden never had a chance to prove itself, becoming another casualty of time rather than design. The same fate met Mitsubishi's A7M Reppu. Intended to surpass the famed Zero, it was tougher, faster, better armed, and far more capable at high speed. Development began in 1942, but engine problems and endless revisions delayed progress. By the time it flew properly in 1944, Allied raids had devastated production facilities. Only 10 prototypes were built. Test pilots praised it, but it never reached combat. Its potential swallowed by defeat. Japan's Kawasaki Ki-80 for Hyatt came closer to making a difference. Fast, powerful, and agile, it could stand toe-to-toe with the P-51 Mustang. Early combat results were promising, but as Japan's industry collapsed, quality plummeted. Engines failed, wings warped, and fuel shortages grounded many aircraft. It fought bravely, but never in the numbers needed to change the war. From that chaos emerged the Ki-100, an inspired solution born of necessity. When inline engines ran out, engineers mounted a reliable radial engine onto the Ki-61 airframe, creating a fighter with superb handling and reliability. Introduced in early 1945, it performed exceptionally, even shooting down B-29s over Tokyo. But airfields were already shattered, and only a few hundred were built before surrender ended everything. The Allies, too, had victims of bad timing. Britain's Hawker Tempest II and the refined Fury were superb piston fighters, fast, agile, and lethal. Designed to dominate late war skies, they entered service just after victory in Europe. Pilots loved them, but the war was already over. The de Havilland Hornet followed a similar path along range. Twin-engine fighter capable of nearly 485 miles per hour. Perfect for the Pacific. It arrived after Japan's surrender, praised as one of the finest piston aircraft ever built, yet denied combat glory. Then there was America's Grumman F-8F Bearcat, a compact, ferocious carrier fighter designed to counter kamikazes. With breathtaking climb rates and superb agility, it reached the fleet in mid-1945 just as the war ended. It went on to shine in airshows and post-war service, but its wartime potential was never tested. None of these aircraft failed because they were poorly designed. They failed because war moves faster than innovation. Bombs, blockades, bureaucracy, and political obsession outran engineering genius. These machines arrived when factories were burning, pilots were gone, and decisions had already been made. They force us to wonder how thin the margins of history really are, how a year, or even a few months, might have changed everything. History doesn't deal in what-ifs, but these stories make it. Impossible not to ask, which of these aircraft surprised you most? And if you want more stories about technology that almost changed the world, you know what to do. There's plenty more where this came from.